speaking of UFOs, we've got Taylor in Washington who was calling in to talk about verifiable UFO sightings. Taylor. Taylor has been abducted. Taylor, are you still with us?
Yes, I am, sir.
Hey, there we go. All right. How's it going?
Man, it's going. I've just been listening to you guys talk.
Well, I understand you wanted to talk about verifiable UFO sightings. What can we help you with?
Well, I'm gonna say it was about 10 or 11 years ago. I was visiting my friends that live over here. I was with my best friend. I was with my ex at the time, and I mean, basically, we ended up staying really, really, really late into the night, and we ended up seeing something at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was honestly, it was a bit like, it was displaying really weird characteristics. It was almost as if it was like kind of like scoping out the entirety of the city, like, because we were far enough that we were able to see everything from like a distance. Like, you're able to like see everything that's going on, and yeah, I was basically in Airway Heights. And they own this like little mountain that's off their property where you can like go and you can see the entirety of the whole city. And
first of all, that sounds freaking amazing. Invite me next time.
Oh, wait, what was that?
I said, first of all, that sounds freaking amazing. Invite me next time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, dude. The spot's honestly off the fucking charts. It's super dope.
Nice.
But anyways, so like we're witnessing these orbs moving in these patterns that we've never seen before in any type of aircraft whatsoever. Like, just going from like moving to like flipping backwards and like, you know, like doing a flip, like all within one moment. Like, yeah, basically like hovering over like specific areas, and like basically like going up to them all separating out, and then like going to different neighborhoods, and then like going over to houses and like shining a light like on a house for like a couple seconds, and then like going to the next house and doing the same thing. Like, I don't know, it was really fucking weird.
Yeah.
Let me get a little bit more organized here and like actually like explain it to you a little bit better from like what actually happened from like instance to instance, so I can give you the justification behind my thinking and like where I'm coming from this. Because like, you know, like when I first saw this, I really had no idea what to think. Like, I really didn't know what to believe. It took me a really long time and a lot of reflection to like actually come up with an idea of like what it is, like what the fuck I actually just thought. Awesome, man. All right. So around this time, I was about it was about 10 years ago from now, and I'm 29 right now. So I was about like 18, 19, somewhere around that time. And of course, when you're that age, you just, you know, I pretty much wanted to have a good time my last night that I was still in town, because I'd already been there for about 2 weeks, and me and my friends decided that we were going to eat a whole bunch of psychedelics. Just me, my ex-girlfriend, and my other best friend. Just us three on top of a fucking mountain at like 6 o'clock at night. Yeah,
that should be your first red flag right there.
Like 4 o'clock. What was that?
I said that the psychedelic should be your first red flag, but I'll bite. Continue.
We kicked the night off with a bunch of mind-altering drugs.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Just let me give you the justification behind what I saw, though. I'm not even kidding. Because like,
go for it.
You know, as I'm witnessing this, and as I'm seeing this, I'm thinking to myself, like, there's no way that we can all be sharing like a hallucination this far away from us taking something like this. Like it had been well over nine hours, and like I stopped feeling that stuff like 5 hours ago, like 6 hours ago. I mean, probably more like 2-3 hours ago, more realistically. But like,
you're also sleep deprived.
It's not going to have a visual effect. It's not going to have a visual effect on me to the point where like I'm hallucinating spheres directly in front of me. Anyways,
how do you know that? Wait. How do you know that? How do you know that?
So here's the thing, bro. I called my best friend's little brother, who was 16 at the time, and I called him at 4:30 in the morning, and I begged for him to come up to the top of the mountain and verify what it is that I was seeing. And I would give him all the fucking weed that I had brought with me. And yeah, like that was it. Like I was going to give him like basically like probably like 2.5 ounces of weed. And he's like a 16-year-old kid. So like next thing I know, I hear him hanging up and then running up the mountain. So Then this
And
is a completely
then-
sober, like this is a completely clairvoyant perspective that was with me, that was witnessing this.
Okay,
That
so
can
he
also verify like what it is that we saw together. Like we were all seeing it together. You
okay,
know?
so he came up to the top of the mountain and saw the same thing as you guys, and he wasn't just fucking with you.
No, not at all. He was fucking blown the fuck away. He you know, he went from sleeping to like being like, oh, whatever, dude, it's probably nothing, to like actually being like fucking blown the fuck away. Like, I mean, bro, like it was ridiculous. Like it finally got to a point where there was one of them specifically hovered directly above us, and like I just remember we all said the exact same thing at the same time. Like it was kind of weird. Like we all said like, oh, we're all gonna be okay, and like it was like we all said at the exact same time, and I lost like 5 minutes on my clock. You know, and I was looking at my clock the entirety, like every single second. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was seeing. Like when it was going down and it was like showing this light onto these houses, I made the assumption that it has to be like stopping time or something. Like going into the house. I know this sounds ridiculous, but like what it was that I was seeing, they're like somehow able to like get an understanding of everybody that's inhabiting that area.
Dude,
You know,
okay,
so they
listen,
understand how much it's grown from before.
I've got to stop you because you're so far off the rails. It's crazy. So you're ascribing intent.
I know, dude.
Hang on.
You're
ascribing intent to something that you don't even know what it is.
Well, all I gotta say, dude, is that it dropped in elevation a lot, and it got like right above us, and it got to a point where like, you know, like it was blinding my eyes. And then the way that they were, I know this sounds weird, but like the way that they were like communicating between each other from like ship to ship was like through movement and through color. It was like they were like dancing in the sky and like conveying messages like that to each other.
How can you possibly know that lights you saw in the sky were communicating with each other?
Because the patterns were so intricate and so absurd that I don't understand. I don't know what else it would be used for. It's so extravagant that I don't understand what the fuck it would be used for, to be completely honest.
Great. So going from I don't know what it could be to therefore it's this thing is a mistake in reasoning. If you care about whether or not your beliefs are true, this is a classic example of a fallacy that you would want to avoid.
I'm listening.
It's just, I mean, in a religious context, you'll hear people talking about this as like a God of the gaps type of fallacy, or I mean, broadly speaking, we're talking about an argument from personal incredulity. You don't know what you saw, so you are just essentially shoving an explanation in where you don't have one.
Well, the only thing I can say, dude, is that when there were as many people as there were staring at it, and we were all trying to make a justification on what it was. I mean, I don't know, man.
There's a couple of things
right
though.
before the sun was about to come up. It was right before the sun was about to come up, dude.
I can grant.
Anyways, let me finish. Let me finish. So like, all of a sudden, after like the first group of four conveys its message to the second group of four, if that's what it did or whatever it is, it did this like these movements in the sky with like the change in the colors is ridiculous, and then like out of nowhere, like at the snap of a finger, they all went separate directions, like north, south, east, west, like a light just like shined across the fucking sky. Like within like a matter of a second, it went from one edge of the sky to the other.
Cool. So
it disappeared. Then, like, the other two.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, well, let me finish. So then the other, there's a mountain range that goes from Idaho.
Just try to make it quick because we do have other callers.
And on the far right end of the mountain range, there is of the logging side, I'm assuming there's fucking radio towers. So, but on the far left side, there are no radio towers. So what I'm saying is that I saw these ships go from being on top of each other to being like side to side to turning off their lights altogether and flashing at the exact same frequency as the towers were on the other side of the mountain. And I'm rinsing my eyes out right now. I'm like trying to be like, what the fuck did I just see that? Did I just see it go from like being that light in the sky to like attempting to disappear? And like probably another 30 minutes went by. Like, you know,
okay. I'm gonna stop you because we do have to get to other. Hold up. we do have to get to other callers, but I want to say a couple things. First off, I'm going to ignore the fact that you admitted before you went off on this alien story that you're literally have been taking psychedelics. I'm going to ignore the fact that you gave weed to a 16-year-old kid. I'm going to ignore like all of that stuff. And I'm going to grant that you saw something.
I'm
because
sorry,
I've seen,
I apologize.
I've seen things that I could not explain where, you know, I'm driving along and I see something and I swear to God, I thought it was aliens. And then I investigated and I got closer and I took a closer look and I was like, oh shit, it was this other thing I never would have suspected. I'll give you an example. I was driving along the highway and I look up and there's literally this floating, hovering, like flying saucer thing. And it was like kind of foggy, kind of cloudy. I'm going quickly, so it looks like it's moving towards me very rapidly, but I'm driving past it and all of a sudden I realize it's not moving towards me quick. I'm just a lot closer to it than I thought, and I fly past it and it's this hovering street lamp that was a peculiar shape, peculiar size. I couldn't see the lamp pole or whatever, and it was something I couldn't explain until I got closer. Had I not gotten closer, had I not seen it, or had I closed my eyes or something,
come after these 4 vehicles.
To this day, I would probably have thought it was alien. I'm not done. So on top of that, there are times when like I've seen glowing kites in the sky flying really quickly and they're maybe close and they look like they're moving further distances than they are. And it messes with my brain, especially at night. I've seen things where there's spotlights that are shining lights up in the sky and they look alien because you see a weird light that's like kind of obscured and stuff. And I can't imagine if I was sleep deprived all night and, you know, doing drugs and stuff, what it would look like. You add to the fact that like, okay, maybe you and your friends all saw something weird, but like all of a sudden these things turned into these, you know, broadcasting towers. You know, you kind of, you see them fly to the side and then you look over and you just see these blinking broadcasting towers. Like, to me, I don't know if you can tell just how that comes off to me, but that gives me extreme reason to be skeptical.
Yeah, I understand, dude.
And even if you did see like for some crazy spy planes or something, to jump from we saw something weird and we don't know to we saw something weird and therefore it had this crazy elaborate intent and it was aliens and they were all communicating with each other and then they camouflaged into, you know, communication towers. That's a big jump. And that's like Kenneth Leonard was saying a second ago, like that's a logical fallacy. You can say, I don't know, therefore I don't know. You cannot say, I don't know, therefore it's like, you know, these aliens doing all of these things that is not substantiated.
And for the record, it doesn't have to be the case that I can believe that you, and there could have been 100 people there who all saw the exact same thing that you saw. Okay. It doesn't really matter because you guys still wouldn't have the justification for getting to the places you're going. So that's where the issue is. And I want to be clear. I'm not saying you're wrong. For all I know, it was aliens communicating with each other in the sky. But how can we possibly justify that statement?
You could see what I saw because I was talking to my friends about it, and I was talking to them about me finally opening up and talking to people about it, like not treating it like it's
right. You saw lights moving around.
Crazy if I talk about it.
I don't think you're crazy. You saw lights moving around in the sky. You don't know what they were. You don't know anything about the nature of what these things were. So where does that leave us?
I mean, we don't know.
I think that's the correct answer.
I mean, the other thing I would point out too is you say, you know, how can we all have seen the same thing? Like there are group hallucinations that have happened all throughout human history. You know, a great example is the Fatima instance. Where
I knew you were there. Yeah.
they thought that they saw, you know, the I think it was the Virgin Mary like in the sky because they were suggested
moving around at a feast in this. Yeah,
it was suggested by this little, you know, child prophetess or whatever that was going to happen, and everyone is out there eagerly anticipating, staring at the sun, and they all start freaking out in this mass hysteria hallucination. They weren't on drugs. This was in like the early 1900s. And so, you know, but you add sleep deprivation to it. You add the power of suggestion. You add that, you know, your all friends probably being like, whoa, do you see that? That just happened. Oh, yeah, it totally did. And, you know, and you also add to the fact that it's been 10 years since then. And so like our memories do change over time and we are able to influence each other's memories every time we recall an event. And it's like all of these factors, including the drugs, it should give you at least a moment's pause. It should give you at least a reason to say, like, that was a cool, wild memory. I don't know what it was. It would have been cool if it was aliens, but to then go out and be like, it's true, they're here, they're living among us, there's aliens. That's a stretch for me. Like, if you want to believe that, that's fine, dude. Like, go ahead and knock yourself out. But like, it's not convincing to me, and I hope you can kind of see why.
Yeah, no, I do, dude. I do.
But I respect you for like, wanting to.
I would not have seen them take off like that if it wasn't for fucking jets. And it's like, I don't know, man. Like, the fact that I lost those 5 minutes, like, I just can't explain it. And
how do you know that you lost 5 minutes?
It's like what we felt. It's I don't know, man. It's just fucking unexplainable.
No, it is not. No, it is not. It is not unexplainable. It is unexplained. That's a humongous fucking distinction. And it's a thing. It's a mistake people make all the time of jumping from I don't know what that was to saying therefore nobody can know what it was. It's unexplainable. Therefore, gods, aliens, fairies, leprechauns, whatever. It's a way of abandoning the pursuit for truth, because once you think you've got it figured out, you stop asking questions. But
yeah, dude, I don't know.
Taylor, thank you for your call. We got to move on. We got some other callers.
I would just give my left nut if you guys could fucking see it, but it's cool. I'll catch you guys on the flip.
Hey, I would love to see it too sometime. And honestly, I respect you for one calling in and talking about this stuff and not being, ashamed to talk about it, because I think that it is important to have these discussions, and two, for wanting to know what it is and for wanting to get to the bottom of it. I will encourage you to, don't stop searching, don't stop looking, maybe look into some kind of skeptical and scientific explanations and look at maybe some skeptical channels and stuff that talk about this stuff and explore this stuff. It might not explain your particular situation, but it at least aids us in trying to figure out and get to the bottom of things in the most effective way we possibly can.
Yeah. So, and there will be no nut amputations necessary.